This is a quick little tutorial to kind of highlight how you might choose to use After Effects and or Photoshop to create some visual effects or visual enhancements for your scenario depiction. So just a quick overview here. This is my setup. I've got a few layers here. I have a device from a student. I've got an image of a planet Earth, a nuclear explosion painted on the planet, and then I've got these effects happening, and this is what it looks like all put together. Okay, so in this future scenario, his device might actually be a satellite that circles the Earth and is designed to function in order to put out, I don't know, nuclear fires on the planet. In Photoshop, I've prepped Evan's device. I've isolated here, so I've highlighted it with a mask, as you can see, right? You see the little dancing ants around the edge. See, so I can composite that image on top of the other elements of the background. Here's a painting that I took from DeviantArt. Now, I don't have proper credit here, but I'll try and put it in the credits of the video if I post it publicly. It's by a concept artist, an image of the Earth. You can use an image you create yourself, find something in the public domain, or if it's never going to see the light of day and you're really just only submitting it as a project, as long as you give credit where credit's due, that'd be fine. You find something online and use that, or better yet, use the collage techniques that we talked about in class and put something together yourself. It doesn't have to be photorealistic like this. It can be a lot looser and more suggestive. Perspectives don't have to match perfectly or anything, but be creative with it and have some fun. So here's the third element. I created this in Photoshop, and you can just do something similar in After Effects. But I've just created a ring with a glow, and I've just done that by a shape, right? So I've masked a shape, and from that selection, I created a new solid, chose a solid color, and then I've added a bunch of effects to that. So if I zoom in here, we get a sense of what it looks like close up. Remember, I turned the black background off, and I've got all these effects. So I've got a bevel and emboss on the shape, a stroke on the shape, a gradient overlay, and an outer glow. If you take a look here, you can see I've got all my elements over stacked in my project window and all my different layers. I've done a little bit of organizing, so I've got graphics in a folder, solids in a folder, and I should probably make a folder to put the rest of these compositions in. So up under composition, go new composition. Most of the defaults are going to be fine. I'm going to leave this composition at 24 frames per second. 1920 by 1080 is 1080p. I'm going to shorten this composition because this is going to end up as an animated GIF. I'm just going to make this only 5 seconds in duration. And my default background color is black. I'm going to hit OK. And that's going to start me over, and I'm going to try and recreate what I just made. So if I look over here and the project window, I've got my Photoshop file with the separate layers imported. I'm going to grab the layer that has alpha included for the object itself. Just drag it down into the timeline, and it's going to automatically center. So holding Command and Option minus is going to let me back out and see that it's actually quite large. It's bigger than my actual composition setup. So I'm probably going to want to scale that down at some point, but in the meantime, I'll drag the rest of my elements in. Here is the ring that I showed you. I'm going to drag that in and probably drag it, let's say, over top. So the stack is going to be different, but there, I accidentally dropped it underneath. And last but not least, I'm going to find the nuclear painting. And it is 1920 by 1080, as was my composition. So when I drag it in here and drag it down below, it should be exactly the same. And you can see the handles there highlighting the corners and the sides. But it is exactly the same size as my composition, which works out great. Look at the stack, right? You can see my 3 elements, main elements in there, right? I've got my painting on the bottom, the object assembly in the middle, and on top is the ring. But if I hit S while my layer is selected, it's going to show me scale. And if I go and drag and drop or just click on and change the variables in scale, then it's going to allow me to scale this thing down to a place that looks better, right? Like that looks like it's a little more manageable. Alternatively to scaling, whoops, where did I go here? Alternatively to scaling, just drag and drop. So I am holding shift to constrain the proportions so that things don't get all stretched. If I take off shift, then my proportions are no longer constrained. And that's kind of not good. So I'm going to size it somewhere in here, and then move it somewhere over to here, roughly where I had it set up originally. Now, if I hit R for rotation, you can see the variables change as far as what is viewable. If I click on the little drop down below, and positions there, scales there, rotation, opacity, and anchor point. But if I just hit R for rotation, it's only going to show me rotation. If I hit T for transparency, it's going to show me opacity. And S for scale, it's going to show me scale. And P for position, it's going to show me just position. If I hold down Shift and hit S, T, and R, then it's going to show me all of those variables that I was just looking at. So I can change them manually here or come up here and change them. So what I was after was the rotation. Drag it until it looks roughly about where I want it. And that's not so bad. I'm going to leave it right there. Just so happens to be 20 degrees rotation. What I'm realizing is the crop on my painting is a little too tight. I want this explosion to be a little closer to my lower third over here. So I'm going to grab the corner and hold shift so it constrains proportions again, scale it up, and then drag it so that it repositions itself in a more favorable composition. Somewhere in there. And that's maybe, I don't like the way it's cropped tight down here. So I might change that a little bit more. Go back up, hold the corner and shift. Maybe scale it a little less drastically. And somewhere in there looks actually much better. Click off there, click back on my object, and I might want to reposition a little bit. Okay, so that puts us in a pretty good start position. Now that I've got the position of those set up, I'm going to go back and turn on my ring. Just double or click on the eye, and I'm going to do a similar repositioning like I did with the last element. Right? Okay, so I'm going to scale this ring down a little bit and change the rotation of it so that it matches the angle of the nozzle or the barrel of this satellite is aiming. So I want my beam to emanate from here, sort of power up, right? And then be projected down to the earth. And I guess maybe what this object or our assembly is doing is putting out these nuclear fires on Earth, right? So maybe that's the problem that it's solving for us. So we'll just figure out a way to make that all happen. So I've got the position, it's repositioned, scaled, and it rotated roughly a pretty good spot. So what I'd like to do next is go up under Effects, and under Effects, I want to add a glow. Now you can find glow under, let me see here, I think it's Stylize. Under Stylize, we started with Effects, and we go to Stylize, and under Stylize are a number of effects, and glow is one. There's find edges. There's a bunch in here that could be interesting and could easily be applied, but you really have to get in and play with the effects to sort of get a sense of knowing what's going to happen. So this glow, I've already applied it in the previous composition, so it maintains it up here, right? Like it keeps it in the queue, so to speak, so it's easily accessible. So I'll hit glow, and that's going to apply some sort of a glow to my element. Now it's hard to see. I'm not sure if it's that prominent, but do is zoom in, and that's just Command plus or Command minus. And holding spacebar and clicking and dragging lets you move around to preview a little more closely. So zoom in a little bit more. Just going to click the glow on and off and see that it's pretty subtle the way it is now. So there we go. Once I get more intensity, more threshold, and then play with the radius, I can see it start to change. See the difference there? And then you can start to play around with how it composites on the layer. Glow operation is set to add. So this is sort of the equivalent of transfer modes in Photoshop, right? Your additive, multiply, dissolve, screen, different ways that that effect can show or composite on everything underneath it. So if I switch add, which is the default to screen, and then just continue to play around with some of these settings. Alpha channels, if I switch alpha channels, then you can see obviously, so the glow is based originally on color channels, so it's playing off the color in the art. But if I switch it to alpha channel, then you can kind of get a better sense of, and maybe this is a way that we can preview some of these settings a little bit better. So again, if I take the threshold way down, it's going to make a difference. The glow radius way up, it's going to make a huge difference, right? Like it disappears. I'm up to 412, or I think I was at 100 and something before. So let's take the radius back down. There we go. We can see an obvious change. Take the radius down, 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 and maybe the intensity up, right? You can see how it gets much more dense, less feathered, and maybe the threshold here starts to change. Well, I got it at 100%, so we can't go any further. If I go back up and change the way the glow, what the glow is based on, go back to color channels, then maybe it becomes a little more prominent. And if I'm still in doubt and the effects are really subtle, then I can switch the effect on and off. But anyways, play with them. Find something that you feel is right or works best with your composition, and get it to a point where you're comfortable and it has the desired effect that you want. So this is okay. It's not ideal. There is glow there, and you might not notice it right away. But what I do want to change that will be a little more apparent is because this is a solid ring and I want it to be an elemental effect on my art, I'm going to change the opacity at the very least, right? Like if I take the opacity way down, right, then you can start to see a bit of the art in between. Let's take it back up, and we will change the transfer modes on the actual layer. And we might get a better, more desirable effect. Switch it from normal to color burn, and you can see how it affects the art underneath. Still not necessarily desirable, but go back up and let's say lighten. Get a different effect. Go back and go, let's say screen, and we get something slightly different. Divide, very different, right? So now we've got a completely different color, and that might work. You know, you could actually change the color of the layer, or you could change how the color is compositing on the art underneath. If I go luminosity, it's going to change again. We get a sense of, see how the white is compositing on the green. I liked the way we were at with screen. Maybe take the alpha a little bit down, right? So drag and let's say 30%, and then scale way back out. So now I am going to animate that ring. You can see here its original position, which isn't too bad. I need to now keyframe that. So I'm going to keyframe, initial start keyframes for the position, for the scale, and for the rotation and opacity. So actually, let's add a keyframe to all four of those elements, right? You can see here, because of where my time marker was sitting, and I changed the variables or clicked on the little stopwatch, that added these keyframes here, right? So those are going to be my starting keyframes. So if I just change position here a little bit, and I'm going to say over